I am Jessica Koch, and this is another Profound Professionals interview series. We have had the joy and the pleasure and the honor of featuring industry experts from all over the world. These people have the information you need to improve your life or grow your business. Today is no different. We have Yvonne McCoy. Yvonne McCoy is a woman's business strategist. Her passion is helping heart-centered entrepreneurs design a simple's important, streamlined, we like streamlined business so that her clients can grow faster and scale bigger than they ever dreamed of before. Oh, welcome, Yvonne.
Hello, Jessica. I am so excited to be here.
All right. So tell me, what sparked the passion for you to be a business strategist? I don't feel like every little girl at 5 years old sits and thinks, I think I want to be a business strategist. So what led you down that path?
Well, I think, I was doing coaching before, kind of really traditional but practical coaching before COVID.
Mm.
But in March of 2020, I woke up in the hospital for 5 days. And when I got out, COVID had shut everything down. I had no business whatsoever. And so I had to rebuild my business myself. And so that was like, I started to take a look at, there's got to be lots of people in this situation. What is it that worked before but didn't work now? And part of what I realized was that people were not looking at strategic long-term thinking. And that was the thing that really got me to shift my business. That and what, people are stuck in this whole mindset of productivity. What can we do faster? Which is not really effective productivity now.
I totally agree. We really just, I'm a big believer in, creating a scalable business, one that doesn't take you to do everything, having really good systems, really good automation. And of course, shameless plug, outsourcing, because we have a virtual assistant membership program. So if you're tired of doing all the things yourself, stop it. Call us and we'll hook you up with a virtual assistant team. That's what our business does. So let's go a little bit deeper though with this, because you talk about how you help them shake it out of this, and you talk about kind of how you transitioned into this kind of new birth of your business and perspective. Tell us, what is our experience if we sign up to work with you as a client? So are you working with us one-on-one? Is it group sessions? Is it an online course I'm digesting? Tell us how I can work with you to make these achievements happen.
Well, one of the things that I do is I do a lot of one-on-one clients, but I am bringing in some group. I figured out how to do a group where I feel like people can get the speed and still get, because one of the things I think as an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship is lonely. Um, and community is so important. And I realized that was one of the things in the programs that I had gone into, the piece that really surprised me that I liked. And you can actually be more productive by working with other people because they have insights and perspectives that you don't have. Um, and so, if we're going back to productivity, I always tell this little bit because I always found this was like a huge thing for me, for my business, is when I found out that productivity actually started in the 1700s as an agricultural thing. It was actually bushels per acre, which we
Oh.
definitely are not doing. And then came the industrial, and it was, widgets per hour, which is where we're kind of stuck, most of us. And so when you work with me, I get you to transition into the industrial society. The widgets per hour is why we want to check things off our list. It gives us that adrenaline rush. But you get paid to think. And when you have a long-term strategy, you can think about things more clearly. You can eliminate a lot of stuff. You don't get as much shiny syndrome, shiny object syndrome. You are much more focused on what you're doing, about what information is helpful to you. And that's again why community comes into, because people can say, oh, I use this and it worked. I use that, it worked. This, you can help you to filter that information. So I think that's the thing that is so important, is that, and it really filters into more things than you think, like leadership, believe it or not. Leadership used to be, as an entrepreneur, you're probably an entrepreneur because you didn't want to be a boss, and now you are a boss,
Yeah,
right? And so it's kind of like, I like being part of us, but now it's them and me. And so the question is, how do you actually grow those people, not just say stick that round peg in a round hole? I mean, nobody wants to do that. That's
Mhm.
that's automation work,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
They
That's
want to be able to grow in the job, and you want them to be able to contribute to the growth of your business.
You do. That's really important. And so I'd love to ask if you could share one tip that you feel like is the most important, something someone could do today that would help their business. What would that tip be?
I think it's really important to say to yourself every day, what is it that I want to do that's going to grow my business? Because when you put, you're going to get drawn back to making the list.
Yeah.
And we tend to put the things on the list that you have to do. The things you have to do, you will do regardless. You don't need to put them on a list because you're going to do them. It's the things that you want to do that are going to grow your business that you need to put the majority of your time into.
That's true. And I'm such a list maker. I love my list. I can't
I
help.
love my list too.
And do I want to make that big red check mark? This is, yeah, I got that done.
But when I make my list, I go back and review it and go, okay, is this something that I have to do anyway that I can leave to the end of the day when my brain cells are dead? Or is it something that I really want to do? So, if I've got to pay a bill, that goes at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's a mindless activity that I can check off. If I need to, really design something or, work on a program, I do that. That goes to the top of my list.
Yeah, I love that. And it's interesting. We've just started scheduling. I think we have two a week and then an additional one. So two call sessions a week and one working session a week. Because what I'm also finding is if you don't put things on your schedule, especially things you really don't want to do, but you really
Mm-hmm.
should be doing, like making phone calls. There isn't a single business owner out there that shouldn't have a block of time where they're reaching out, following up from networking groups that they were on, and real old-fashioned phone calls are so much more productive than all this other chasing around.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1% for email and, a certain percent for direct messages and social media and a certain percent for texting and all these things. What you get such a higher percentage opportunity if you actually pick up your phone and use it for what a phone was meant for and you make a phone call.
And you know what? Making phone calls is a great activity to do in a pro-working session. You get like three or four
Yes.
people together and we go, okay, for 35 minutes or 40 minutes, we're all going to make phone calls. And then you can't ignore it. It's right in your face and it's like
Yeah.
a competition.
Well, and that's what we do. We actually sell that as a program. So we have these live working sessions and we all get on Zoom and we have a little bit of a training on sales or calls for like 5 or 10 minutes, just like tip or something to get people excited. And then we all put on mute, but keep our cameras on and
Right.
put in the chat celebrations. Hey, I reached a live human. Hey, I booked an appointment. Hey, I got a client. And then at the end, we go over those celebrations. We go over any challenges or tough calls that you had that you ended up with someone
Mhm.
tough on the other end of the line. And then we talk about how that could have been done differently or what tips that the audience and other people in the room have used to make that go differently.
Right.
So it's a really exciting thing to do and super important to cover. Now, before we move on, is there anything else about yourself or your business that you'd like to share?
Well, part of I think my philosophy is I believe that first of all, if you can't find it, you can't use it, right? And
Mhm.
that's what I found when I was in corporate is that we had these great trainings and somebody would train you on something, but in a crisis you couldn't find it. So one of the things that I do is I try to make it memorable so that you have models you can tap into it without having to look it up. I also believe that they should work for you personally and professionally. because the more you use it, the better you get at it, and you don't have to have a split personality, like, you're a professional here and you're a parent there, or whatever the case may be. So I think that's really important. Um, and I think maybe the last thing is to to realize that a lot of the mindsets that you had from the time you were a child, and they were there to make you safe. You're
Mm,
now an adult, and so those mindsets may not be serving you well now. And one of them, a big one, of course, is money.
yes.
You know,
It
and
is. I hate all. I mean, it took me so long. I'm 50 and fabulous now, but it took me so long to unprogram myself from all of the toxic money training my brain got as a child. And I don't blame my parents or the adults that were in my life doing that to me because they didn't know any better. That's how they were programmed, So it's just really sad. And that's a huge point. I love that one, Yvonne.
so that I think, and what I realized, and I took a course on positive intelligence last year, which was wonderful, because one of the things he said is, your beliefs are kind of the rut that you're in. You're limiting the rut. And if you can stop yourself long enough to say, there's an opportunity or there's a gift here,
Hmm.
you can go in a different direction. And it's such a small thing, but it makes such a huge difference. And that's kind of what you're having your dead reckoning, and wanting what you're going to be remembered for when you're 100. If you look at everything with that lens, it really changes how you make decisions. You can make bolder decisions, you can make them faster, you can eliminate a lot of the outside noise that
Mhm.
comes at you.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, one of the other reasons we started Profound Professionals 5+ years ago is because I believe in multiple wins. And so we take the time to educate people on the amazing things that you can do and how you help them, as well as causes that are close to our guests' hearts. And that's really important to me to use this time, just not just to lift each other up, you and I, but also to raise some cause awareness. So is there a cause that you care about?
I do, and like I said to you, I'm not sure I've got this right, but it's Chef Andre, and it's he feeds the world basically. Every time there's a disaster, he goes in, he gets there before the governments get there. I mean, I find it just amazing that he's been to Haiti, he's with places where there are earthquakes, and he always shows up. He's in the United States as well. He shows up in Louisiana where there are tornadoes, and he seems like he can get there within 24 hours before the government even gets there.
Oh my
And
God.
I find that amazing. He also is a 5-star chef, so that he's not feeding people
Wow.
crap. He's feeding them good
Right.
food.
That is wonderful. And so can you also share with us, because the other thing people who watch our show know that I'm crazy about is I totally love books. So I ask our guests to share with us a book that either inspired your life or really helps your business grow. What is a book that you can share with us?
I'm going to go back to a classic because I'm an old lady. And it's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, by Steve Covey, who I love. Um, he definitely changed my life. And
Oh,
Wayne Dwyer is another one, but Stephen Covey is a goodie.
that is definitely, he does so many. And a matter of fact, that reminds me, I want to go through and read those again. Those are the kinds of books, ladies and gentlemen, that you don't
Mhm.
read just one time. I have several I try to reread every year or every other
Mhm.
year so that I can make sure that I'm applying those things that, oh yeah, I learned that. I forgot I knew that. And make sure that you're actually applying it to your life or your business.
Can I give you another tip that I do sometimes?
Sure.
I'm a visual learner. One of the things I do is I make myself a table, and I put like big ideas across the top. So, change or communication or, that kind of stuff. And then down the side, I look at the models that come from different people and go, oh, I remember he said this. So when I'm finished, I have a whole a whole group of references on change or communication or whatever, and I go, okay, how do I use this in what I'm trying to teach? And it, it's much more productive
Wonderful.
in the informational age than just a checklist.
I so love that. You
I'm
have
a matrix person.
You have given us so much inspiring food for thought. Please take a look at the show notes wherever you're seeing this, or description, or in the comments, wherever all the millions of pieces that we are going to be posting this. You will also find in the description more details about how to reach Yvonne, as well as some of the pieces that she has shared here today. We will include a link to an article that we feature about Yvonne and this show itself. So make sure you check that out. Now, if you are a profound professional, if you're an industry expert and you can inspire and help someone have a better life, or you can help them grow their business, then this is the show for you. So make sure you reach out and you get on with us, and you can be someone's here today, theirs and mine, if you email introduce us to any of the experts that you happen to network with or know about that really should be on our show. Email introduce us. We'd love to talk to them about being featured and give them just all the steps they need to take to be on our show. Now, I want to thank you for watching, and I want to give you a great big virtual hug for sharing this, because you just don't know who needed to hear all of Yvonne's amazing tips or information today. You just don't know whose life will be touched by clicking that share button. So we thank you for that. Leave your comments, leave your thoughts, leave your love, and tell us how we can improve. We love hearing from you. Now, before we say goodbye, I always like our guests to share a final piece with thoughts, words of wisdom, information, or inspiration as we say goodbye.
I would say to you, when you're feeling like you're not making progress, think about where you were 2 years ago. You may be, as you grow, okay, it's always going to be uncomfortable. So just the fact that you're uncomfortable means you're doing something. So take a minute, look at how far you've come, and see what you've accomplished.
I love that. Yvonne, thank you so much for being a part of our show today. And as always, everyone, I am your host, Jessica Koch. This is Profound Professionals. And please be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.
Bye.